showed up a little late because of all that weather that we had getting in. Trying to fly out of DC was rough, so I missed the initial introduction to the coffee, but fortunately, one of the other competitors was able to share with me that it was Guatemalan washed high density coffee before I got to my sample round, which was nice. So I just approached it like I would any high density coffee here on my machine. I'm Eric Stone. I'm the head roaster here at Mudhouse Coffee Roasters. We're based out of Charlottesville, Virginia. I started roasting here at Mudhouse. I began as a barista at one of our cafes and then transitioned over to the roasting side of things, which I think is the path for a lot of people. And I began roasting back in 2013. Mudhouse as a company began roasting back in 2012, so I'm outside the owners, the first roaster that they had trained for the company, and I learned on our San Franciscan 1 machine. We still use it today. It's great for sampling in some of the higher end coffees that we put out for those super small batches.
Being a competitor for a bunch of years already, and you've seen the changes in the roasting competition. How did it feel this year to roast on site for a qualifying event?
I've only used the Strongholds a handful of times, but I think they're great machines. They're fun to play around with. And yeah, I think it just, I guess, levels the playing field a little bit when everyone has access to the same machine, the same coffee. You know, it's a little different than being able to roast on a machine that you're, know the in and outs of and work on every day.
Yeah, it almost felt like a mini national competition. Even the competitors too, that that all 30 of you. I mean, that was looked like an all-star list. When I saw the sheet come out, I was like, man, really accomplished roasters.
Yeah, everyone's great. Always exciting to see the familiar faces, as well as the new ones. But yeah, it was crazy.
Can you talk about your experience with the competition coffee itself?
Yeah, so I showed up a little late because of all that weather that we had getting in. Trying to fly out of DC was rough, so I missed the initial introduction to the coffee, but fortunately, one of the other competitors was able to share with me that it was Guatemalan washed high density coffee before I got to my sample round, which was nice. So I just approached it like I would any high density coffee here on my machine.
And when you when you roast for competition versus production roasting day to day, knowing that the coffee is going to be cut by the judges within 24 hours, maybe even shorter than that, how was that in terms of like your thought process and strategy for competition?
In terms of the roasting, I tend to go a little bit lighter than I normally would probably on my own roast. I think that especially with the Stronghold, seems that you can get more thorough development on these lighter roast profiles than I necessarily would on my own machine. So I just kept that in mind and really tried to highlight the more fruity aspects of the coffee.
Kind of following up on, you mentioned earlier, you arrived to Houston a little late, so weren't able to get the coffee information when it was first introduced. Your years in as a coffee roaster, how did that play into your approach to the coffee itself at Mudhouse? You roast a lot of Guatemalan coffee.
Yeah, for sure. I'm lucky that one of our bigger blender lots right now is a Guatemalan, so we roast that on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, like I said earlier, for me it was just seeing that it was a hard, dense coffee, one that I was fortunately pretty familiar with. So I was thinking high energy roast, fairly quick, up to first crack with a steep incline would probably be a good way to start.
Your years of being a coffee roaster, but also your years of competing, if you ever had time to reflect, how have you grown as a coffee professional since you started?
I do think that doing the competitions has probably helped me develop my roasting skills the most out of anything that I've done related to roasting coffee. I think it's also really having to think about the coffee and how you roast, really get into the weeds as far as what are these minor changes that I'm going to make in any part of the roast curve, any adjustments of drum speed, air control, anything like that. How is that actually going to translate to the coffee? Because, when you're roasting, it seems like oftentimes all the competitors seem to have pretty similar curves or ideas of what they want to do. So you're really fighting for those really small things that are going to make a difference. So it's helped, just open my eyes and think more critically, I guess, about our roasting process.
I see the certificate in the background, Q grader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little mess back here, but yeah, I've got the Q and then think a volleyball trophy and some other
Oh,
stuff back there. But yeah,
how long have you been a Q beer?
I got certified this past year down at Balzac in Charleston.
Congratulations, man. That's quite an accomplishment, and a lot of hard work went into that for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a little nerve-wracking for me, but it was a great experience. I'm happy to be part of the queue.
With all that, the years that you've been competing, you got your Q, you representing, Mudhouse. How have you, I guess, in terms of your community utilizing this platform, do other coffee professionals seek you out to pick your brain for knowledge, whether it's roasting or whether it's even going to compete or coaching, things like that?
I've had a couple people pick my brain, but I wouldn't say it's I don't know if I would say people are seeking me out. We've definitely had some people, when it comes to joining the Mudhouse team, have sought out us specifically because they've done some research and seen them, some of the awards that we've won in the past. Yeah, my assistant roaster currently was one of them. That's one of the main reasons why he chose Mudhouse. In terms of, I don't know if anyone's necessarily seeking me out for my opinions.
Oh, but you represent the Mudhouse and the whole state of Virginia very well. So always seeing your name and competing. What are you looking forward most to competing in Chicago in a couple months?
I played a lot of sports growing up, so I like just, I guess, the act of competing. I like competition in general. I think that it helps bring out the best in me. It helps me really refocus in on coffee and roasting. I'm no longer the only roaster at Mudhouse, with an assistant roaster now, so good to be able to at times refocus, really hone in on the day-to-day aspect of coffee roasting.